Well, hi everybody. It's Laura King, and it's my first time. I'm going to try this live. I feel like I've benefited a lot from other people offering live feeds on Facebook. And in this time of this virus situation, it's like, what do I do? I'm an occupational therapist. I can help a lot of people with special needs, especially. And so it's like, what do I do? And I've definitely benefited from these live feeds on Facebook. So here I am. I'm going to try this out. I figured I'd try this out on Wednesdays for the month of July. Aiming for 1 o'clock. I tend to run a little late. So it's 1:15. We'll try this. I thought what I'd do is pick a topic each week. This week I thought I'd just work on balance because it's such a generic problem for many people. And I'd like to offer you guys some ideas of how I would address balance in my my therapy sessions. And next week, I was thinking maybe self-regulation, especially in these times where people are really stressed out. What kinds of things can we do to help calm ourselves down, especially if we have special needs? Individuals that we're working with in our homes, people who have trouble regulating themselves. I think stress, certainly in my own life, we really need to do some self-regulation kinds of things. But I'm open to other kinds of topics. So just let me know. I think probably the best way to reach me is through PM on Facebook. Okay, this is backwards, but my business is Sensory Solutions, Inc. I've been in business since 2008. My tagline is offering strategies to reach wholeness. So let's address balance. There's a reason why I'm lying here on the floor, because a lot of special needs people have issues that go all the way down to being infant. And what do infants do? They either lie on their bellies or they lie on their backs. So as an occupational therapist, I would evaluate where are they at with their balance. We call the developmental sequence is the sequence of movement patterns that we go through as an infant, a toddler, childhood, and into an adult. We're born not standing on our 2 feet, but we actually evolved to get to those 2 feet, to be able to stand on 2 feet. So what I'd like to do is walk you through, or move you through, the developmental sequence so you have an idea of the different positions that I'd like to use as a therapist. And then what I do is I take these positions and then I apply it to different pieces of equipment. So I have a couple of things that I'd like to show you, and then show you how maybe you can apply this at home, whether it's for yourself or someone you're caring for. So the developmental sequence, we start on our bellies, and then, see if I can do this here. And we kind of roll. If you have ever had children, you'll see the babies start doing this, and then they start reaching. So there's a weight shift and a reach. Weight shift and a reach. Normal development, you would be doing it on both sides. But if somebody has had a stroke or cerebral palsy, they may be limited on one side or another. So again, as an occupational therapist, I could come in and help give you some guidance. But as an infant evolves from a motor standpoint, you start shifting and you start reaching and then you start rolling. And let's see if I can do it this way. So now I'm sideline. I could roll and I'll sideline this way. See, my arm is here. As an individual develops, start being able to push up. Some people may not even have balance at this level, but they may be able to push up into all fours. And then, again, there's movement back and forth, side to side, even reaching. One of the things I like to do in therapy is high five while you're on all fours. Obviously, I have to be a little careful. So there's all fours. Then I can even go into a side sit, back on all fours, up to kneeling, half kneeling, and to stand. Now, when I'm assessing somebody, I'm going to look for each one of those different movement positions and then see where the balance is. Somebody very young may not have very good balance while they're on their belly and prone. So one of the things I might do in therapy, you can't see that very well, is I have a rocker board. Actually, one of my parents made this for me. So it can go sideways and it can go back and forth. So again, depending on what my therapeutic goals are, I may go one way or another or both. So there's a little bit of rocking. So I want to really work on my individual, on my clients with that. There's also some other positions on this rocker board I'll show you. I'm going to get on all fours. Now, if somebody's really posturally insecure or whatever, they may have some trouble with this. But depending on where they're at with this rocker board, we can even work up to kneeling. Now, I don't know if you can see, it's like right at the end of the frame. So I'm rocking it back and forth. Now, as a therapist, depending on what my goals are, I may want to add other things like trying to catch a ball while they're on this. So the art of therapy is to try to incorporate a lot of different kinds of skills into one activity, as long as the individual can handle that much. Again, that's part of our assessment process. So if somebody's got a lot of balance problems, they may like go really low. But if I'm working up that developmental sequence and they can kneel, then I may want to start doing things like this. And then they can catch a ball or not. You know, there's a lot of different kinds of things we can do. We can do high fives. Try to get their mind off of what we're really working on, that's the balance. So that's in kneeling. It's another fun tool. So if I was, say, working with somebody, I'm trying to work on their standing balance, this might be another activity I might do. So I'm going to have them stand with their heels on this semicircle, toes flat on the ground. And then again, it's challenging the balance a little bit. Also helps with grounding. So you may have them go back and forth. May have them try going back and forth and then side to side. Again, maybe playing with a ball, or maybe looking at something. Maybe put a racket in their hands where they have to, badminton racket, have to hit a birdie. One of my favorite non-ball things is pine cones. I live in the largest ponderosa pine forest in the world. We have pine cones. So catching them and throwing them, and there's so many different kinds of things that we can do. So let's take standing on 2 feet to the next level. Is what about then standing on 1 foot, whether you're standing on one of these semicircles or not. These are some of the ways that we work on balance. This is one way I would work on balance if somebody is more mature in their physical development. Now, what if you don't have these things in your home? What about rocks? We have to be really creative here. Here's a yoga mat. A lot of people might have yoga mats. Stand on that. It's just one way to address balance. Depending on the safety issues, say you're out and about, you're helping you're going grocery shopping and your child you want to just have some fun. What about walking on curbs? Whoa, I need to work on that. But if you walk on curbs, it's a way to work on balance, and it's a way to have fun. It doesn't have to be a therapy session. I think the final thing I want to talk about, kind of bringing it down into that middle range of sitting. If somebody's having problems sitting, balance-wise, and I've worked in a lot of schools, there's a lot of kids who do have trouble with their balance in sitting. So a lot of those kids that are in school that are wiggling around and moving around and they're constantly being told to sit still, they probably can't. And it's a setup and it's a power struggle for the educational classroom. Not that that's so much of an issue right now, but the point is these kids really do have a lot of balance problems. So what can we do to help address this? This is one way. I love these balls. I definitely recommend having these balls, although they can be very dangerous in somebody's home. So please be safe. It's kind of hard to substitute a ball, but let me just show you, well, let me just show you this. A spinning chair. Now this is a whole nother area, and I could spend a whole session just on I'm going to say vestibular movement, and I will. I'd like to do that, and that's where the swings come in. But there might be a way to substitute. If you have a spinning chair for a ball, it's not the best, but it's an idea. Anyway, I want to show you, I've got a couple different balls here. For my height, I'm about 5'1". This ball is actually a little small for me. This ball is actually a little too big for me. So when I work with people, I want to make a determination on which ball might fit best. Let's see if I can do this. One of the many, many different things I can do with these balls is address the developmental sequence, that the different positions that I was just talking about. So for example, somebody has an issue with balance, even on their belly, or say I'm working with somebody with cerebral palsy, or a very young toddler who has difficulty moving, I can put them on this ball and facilitate movement to try to help work them through that developmental sequence so that they can improve their movement and be able to start handling those more complex movement positions. So one thing would be on this ball, it's prone, this is on your belly. So obviously I would hold somebody on here, depending. If it's somebody who's got enough balance, some kids who are really wild and crazy, be really careful. Here I am in my own living room, but there's some safety issues. So please make sure that you take care of those safety issues first, because some kids will get really wild. So in therapy, there's a wide grade of possibilities, from somebody being totally independent to somebody needing total care while on this ball. Please be careful. So to work on the belly, lots of things. Some of you who do yoga might recognize this position. So the ball can even be a prop for an adult if you're doing some yoga, you know. But see how my arms, I guess you can't see my hands, but my arms are bearing weight on the floor. So a lot of kids who have handwriting issues probably can't do this. So am I going to sit at a table and have them practice handwriting when they don't have the weight-bearing capacity and the strength and endurance in their arms? I mean, so much of what I do is work more at the gross motor level, because then that helps to support the fine motor. And as an occupational therapist, we work on occupation, and we use our hands for so much of our occupation. For a child, it's handwriting a lot of the time. But if they don't have the endurance, it's another setup for a power struggle in a classroom. They don't have the capacity, and yet they're told they have to write all this work or whatever. And they can't do it. What happens is then they become a behavior problem. And now we've become so militaristic in the schools, it's like off and running, when they just don't have the strength for whatever reasons. And that in and of itself is a whole nother topic. But anyway, this is one of the things that I would work on for balance, is we work on ball activities. And I'm trying to see my legs are nice and stretched out there. A lot of the kids I work with, they're like this, they're moving around. They have a hard time with this. This is the very basic position in that developmental sequence. If kids are having trouble on their belly doing these kinds of things, they're going to have problems standing with their balance. So I'm not going to work with, I will work with standing, but I want to bring it back down to the level where they have a level of competency, and then go from there. So this is one way. I showed you the rocker board. We can go side to side. We can do high fives. We can do all kinds of things like that. We can even sideline. And out. I just worked on my knees for the last 35 years, so my knees are a little delicate these days. I'd like to show you how I can facilitate going from prone to sitting, but not with my body and my knees right now. Anyway, here's sitting. So, depending on where the person is at, we can rock side to side. We can go back and forth. By the way, my husband's in a great band, the Van Devere Breaks. Vandevier, Breaks. Great band. But this is my living room, and so I have to work with what's in my living room like you do. Be safe, please. So side to side, back and forth. We can even do diagonal. I can even go in a big circle. Now, I can do this individually. Adults can do this. But then as an occupational therapist, I can help facilitate this for you through telehealth, through clinic, through talking on the phone even, on how to help whomever you're caregiving for on their balance. Another comment though before I leave this piece is it's one thing to just sit here and practice this. It's a whole other thing to be engaged in activity. And as an occupational therapist, we're looking for engagement so much because what I'm trying to do is help somebody be more functional. That's what I was trained for as an occupational therapist. So I love balls because there's so many different kinds of things you can do with balls. These are just two examples. A lot of kids have issues with tactile processing, so I like to use a variety. So I may engage somebody in a reciprocal ball activity while they're sitting on the ball. I may ask them to just maybe do something on their own. I may actually have them, like with a game or something, on their lap so that they're sitting and doing it on their own as opposed to an exchange. I could put the ball at a tabletop and then have them work on something on the table. There's so many different varieties of different kinds of things we can do. So I wanted to show you a couple of examples of some activity ideas. I'm open for different topic suggestions, different ideas. I feel like my customer, I really would like to target families, ideally, but also agencies. I've worked with schools, many schools over the years. And then where are we going educationally anyway? I've been very disappointed to see that recess and physical activity has been taken out of the school so much. Because like I alluded to before, it just means so much to help regulate somebody, especially when we're trying to work and learn. If those physical issues are causing problems, it's going to cause problems academically. So you can contact me. I can give you some suggestions. I've got some different things set up. Just a consult. I can do a full evaluation. I can do treatment. I can do one treatment. I can do treatment every week. We're moving into new times, so it's time to be innovative. So let me know. Let me know if there's something I could do to help you out. I'm going to try these Wednesdays for the month of July, and we'll go from there. See what I can do to help you all out. Probably PMing me on Facebook might be the best thing to do. But you can call me. My cell phone is 631-848-8852. I live in Flagstaff, Arizona, but I can legally evaluate and treat for people in the state of Arizona. But I can do educational experiences and do some general consults anywhere, which I think is so cool with all this freebie stuff on Facebook. You know, being able to meet with people in Spain and Australia, and Canada, Croatia, it's just really cool. So let me know what I could do. I think it's really cool. I love being online like this and being able to communicate and connect with people. So thanks for watching, and take good care. Okay, bye.